Yo, it's Elut, and welcome back to my forced units only hard mode run of Radiant Dawn. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these, not the footage, but the voiceover. I waited until part 2 was done and out and took a little break, worked on some other stuff, but we are back, part 3 prologue with the Grail Mercenaries, which is pretty fun stuff. Unlike some of the earlier chapters in other parts, we actually have access to skills right off the bat. And the first thing I always do, call it bias, I don't care, I take Adept off of Soren and give it to Mia. And then I take Provoke and give it to Ike as well. I don't really trust Provoke in general, but least of all on a sniper class. I don't know, I just don't really think it helps that much. So I just put it on Ike. You know, he's pretty reliable, he doesn't really die to much. Especially in these early chapters, so that's fine. And then the only other thing we do is I put vulneraries or concoctions on characters that are actually in combat. But besides that, everybody's set as far as weapons go. I think I might take the steel bow from Rolf and give it to Shinen, but I forget if I do that here. I usually do that. Rolf is pretty bad. He's not even that bad. Like, most of the units in this crew are fairly capable. The worst ones being generally Rolf, Mist, and Riz. We're stuck with this crew for 2 maps, and then after that, it's basically Ike solo run for a lot of Part 3. So we get to have a little bit more of a traditional Fire Emblem experience until then. Okay, so I guess I do leave the steel on Rolf, give him a kill. I love Rolf, but, you know, I can't bring myself to use him in Radiant Dawn long term. Path of Radiance, though, I usually make an effort. I don't know why. I just think he's funny. Go off, Ike. But yeah, so on hard mode without transfer bonuses, there's a few enemies at the start that Ike won't double. But more often than not, he does tend to double. And when he does, he just outright kills things. And then other units like Boyd and a lot of times Oscar too have doubling problems. Oscar less so, but Boyd definitely has doubling problems. Soren also has horrible doubling problems here, which is why we gave Adept to Mia, because Mia doubles everything. And Soren with Adept oftentimes still won't one-round things. So if we give it to a character like Mia, who's already doubling and has high skill, then that means she has more chances to actually proc Adept, and then can maybe kill things or, you know, get lucky crits here or there or whatever. It's just kind of a more fun thing, at least for me. That's why I do it. But Soren's pretty bad in this game on the offensive front. I don't think that's a particularly hot take. But, you know. So everybody, as I said, is forced. We don't have a deployment screen, really. We had, like, the base and the convoy, but kind of different. And our goal here is to get Skramir, one of the Lagoos, he's the orange lion that already moved, to an arrive point. And this map, in a lot of ways, kind of plays itself. It's not really that big of a deal. The longest part about it is just watching the green unit faces and stuff. So it's not too bad. But we're just kind of chilling for a lot of it. The next map, it'll be just us, and then we'll have 2 Lagoos partner units, so they'll be yellow units. But a lot of this is just going to be combining for kills, and things like that. Shinen, a lot of times, he's honestly one of my favorite characters to use in Radiant Dawn. He's not, like, super optimal necessarily, but his stat spread is kind of ridiculous. And I just always find him very fun to use. And he has a pretty good start, especially with a killer bow. That allows him to one-round a lot of things, too. Yeah, see, Soren right there, he did 16 damage. His highest might tome is that Elwind. Even if he procced Adept, that guy would still be living. Soren definitely has a rough go in FE10 hard. I still like him and everything, like as a character, but you know, I gotta keep it real. Rolf kill? Ooh. Oh, he's one strength away. Oh, poor kid. Yeah, it takes 3 people to kill that, but yeah, you know, kind of funny, kind of funny. Oh, Rolf. But yeah, there won't be any reinforcements from behind this crew so much. And something that is nice, it's not always super impactful, but it is nice, is that we actually get 2 ballistas on this left route here. And sometimes they can help, because if Rolf or Shinen get a crit from the ballistas on like a mage or something, it can help the Lagoos go faster. But if they don't, then, you know, it's not that big of a deal either. It's just kind of a bonus thing that is kind of funny. Because there aren't a lot of maps in most Fire Emblems, really, that you get to use ballistas. And even when you do, a lot of times they're not really that good. There's exceptions to that, of course. Like a particular defend map in Part 3 of this game, ballistas are actually like a huge deal. But that's like 10 chapters from now, 10 plus chapters from now, so... Yeah, here, so we try with a crit, can kill some things. Sometimes it's better to just chop down one of the guys at low health rather than go for a Hail Mary crit. Because we can't finish this map any faster than Skrymir can. And then this random item drop coin. Not intentional, but it is funny. Counter. Dude, I always forget she even has counter. That skill is so stupid. Oh, speaking of counter, okay, this is kind of funny. I actually tried very recently to, in FE9, I tried to kill the Black Knight with counter on Mist. Because I thought that would be hilarious. For real, I tried for like 3 hours, I think, to get that to work. I did an entire playthrough just dedicated to putting resources into Mist so that, you know, she wouldn't die from reinforcements and stuff during the Black Knight fight. For like 3 hours or something, I tried to get counter to proc once against the Black Knight, and I just couldn't get it to happen. I even saw Mist proc Miracle a few times. Plenty of Lunas went off, but counter just would not happen for me. So I was really bummed about that. I think it's fairly safe to say that it's been debunked that you can't kill the Black Knight with counter on Mist. But god, that would have been funny. That would have been so great. I suspect, though, that there's something in the coding with characters like the Black Knight, and probably Ashnard as well, that just... Because not only do they not take damage from, you know, units that aren't the Dragon Lagoos, Royal Lagoos, or like with Ragnell. But I figure that there's probably some sort of mechanic or coding in there that prevents offensive skills from proccing on other units as well. It's not explicitly stated anywhere, but that's my hypothesis. So I really wish that could have worked out. Counter is a funny skill, but it's definitely not that good or anything. But yeah, I really wanted that to work so bad. But anyway, long rant about counter. That skill is pretty unimportant most of the time. But it's only like 10 skill capacity or something, so, you know, at least it's not an expensive skill. But I think most often you're better off selling it if you get a scroll or something. Yeah, but anyway. I also find it kind of funny. I'm not really sure why they did this, but the movement order for the green units is the ones in the back move first, which seems kind of counterintuitive, especially once we get close to the boss. Because like once the boss dies and all Skrymir has to do is just hit the arrive point, we'll have to watch like 6 or 7 green units all the way in the back move before Skrymir does. It's just for some reason to me it's like always kind of silly to watch. But it just kind of makes everything take longer. Like, you would think you'd want the frontline ones to move first in order to clear the path, and then the ones directly behind would go next, and, you know, so on and so forth, but just kind of a little detail that I'm used to seeing, I guess. Most people probably don't even care about that at all. I don't know. Maybe I've played this too much. Who knows? Who can say? Yeah, Adept, there we go. That guy had like a 30 hit rate on Mia anyways, but another sort of perk of having Adept is that sometimes she won't take a counter, which is nice, you know. She's already like kind of reliant on dodges, and she does it pretty well to begin with, but that sort of added layer of safety is really nice. That's why she's so fun to use in this game. She's one of my favorites too. Alright, and then I think Titania doubles the top mage, but not the bottom one, so we kill that one with her. And I think we send Ike in. The only real weakness Ike ever has in FE10 is potentially mages, and a lot of times, especially with supports, they won't even hit him, but if they do, it can be kind of nasty. Which is why, if you've been watching this whole playthrough from the beginning, you'll remember that I sent a Pure Water from the Dawn Brigade on Ilyana, and Ike really, really needs that at a certain point. It's actually very important. But beyond that, Ike is a pretty baller unit, especially when he doubles, which is most of the time. He just obliterates everything. It's very, very fun, very nice. Really appreciate that. Appreciate a good unit, you know? Yeah, here we go. Move the back line first. And then I guess the only other thing worth mentioning is, obviously it's a game over if Skrymir dies. But like, fat chance of that happening, he's a lion. And then on top of that, I believe, it's been a while since I've looked, but I believe it's also a game over if Ranulf dies. But to be honest, I've never seen either one of those things ever take place. So I don't know how important that actually is. Maybe someone out there has seen one of them die on a playthrough, but I never have. They're both pretty prepared for these early chapters. Ranulf will be forced in some chapters later with Ike, and he does kind of prove to be a nuisance at times. He does fall off pretty hard, but right here is probably the peak of his performance, so really no worries there at all either. Alright, and then now we can see the boss. The boss has a crossbow that is droppable, but don't worry, even if Skrymir or one of the green units kills him, that crossbow still gets sent to our convoy. Very nice of the developers to do that, so we don't actually have to race Skrymir so much. We're kind of playing a supporting role in the story anyway, so it all makes sense, but just something to note, I guess. there he goes. Yep, ripperoni, dude. And then I think we just end turn here. I don't think we... Yeah. There's no point in trying to move and maybe get one kill. Like, it wouldn't really do anything for us anyways. And here we go. Everybody's got to get a hit in before Scrimmier ends the map. Very efficient players here. Green units, thank you. You see everybody in the back moving. Revved up and ready to roll. But yeah. So that's a wrap for part 3 prologue. You'll see this same crew in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.